All right, Bitcoin hoodie guy coming back to you with another KASPA video. Today we'll be talking about how it's number 2 behind Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the price here. You can see that it's still hanging there at 9 cents. Did get down to 8.7 or whatever, but it's just been chopping sideways right around that 9 cents, which doesn't bother me. Boring is fine, and it's building a base there, and we'll just have to see what the future has. But right here on the Crypto Mining Bros was talking about how KASPA is now the highest daily mining revenue generating coin after Bitcoin. BTC's daily emission is 36,106,853 dollars. And right here, KASPA is like 1.24 million, Doge is a million, Litecoin's 342,000, or Ethereum Classic 342,000, Litecoin 262,000, Monero 71,000. So that is encouraging that it's profitable for the miners. That's what you want to see, and that's good. And these guys look like they're just focused on mining. So it's nice to see that it's number 2 in terms of profitability for miners. I said that KASPA will melt faces months ago. Is this a good thing, bro? It means lots of selling pressure each day, right? And in a bull run, KASPA will reach $5 in a month. They'll remember me. And still not listed on a tier 1 exchange. Wow, Martin Schuyler said. So I'm not too late then, Steve asked. KASPA, $20. I don't know. That's here is one very early proof of work project with early CAS vibes. Hash rate is growing fast within the last 7 days. The Crypto Star, let's see what they're saying. Thank me later and give me a follow. Token name is XPB. Pal Blocks. I don't know anything about that, but that somehow you find a new project that way. XPB. I don't know anything about that. Might as well just take a look. It's probably Transmute Protocol. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. I don't see anything coming up on CoinMarketCap. So you probably have to dig a little bit deeper into that. So it's showing that, where is it here? XPB. Oh, Pal Blocks. So I guess that was the wrong one. Let's just take a look. Pal Blocks. Pal Blocks. Let's see. I'm not seeing it right now, but they're trying to say that it's an up and comer, and that doesn't mean it is. It's just always interesting when you hear a project for the first time. It's got ETH hash algorithm. Market cap is $4 million. You can see the 7-day change is 1,200%. Volume 516,000. So it's out there. Pal Blocks. 1,380 people on Twitter. I'm not sure who knows about that project. Anyway, back to KASPA, still hanging around 9 cents. What's interesting is I know I've heard some people talking about the global liquidity, which goes in cycles. It kind of times up with the Bitcoin halving. And so KASPA has outperformed Bitcoin, obviously, since it came on the scene last year. Way outperformed Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's up, basically 100%. Well, I guess since, at the bottom, it's up over 100%. But the thing with KASPA is it's gotten up to where it's a $2 billion market cap. So what's it going to take for it to get up to $100 billion market cap? What everything's possible in the next couple of years. And could it do that if the global liquidity, just take a look at this global liquidity. Apparently this is like maybe or 2022, 2023, it should be bottoming out, going back up. You can see that kind of 2021, somewhere around there is when it peaked out. Global liquidity fall on track with typical cycle. It ain't different this time. And so I don't know exactly the index measuring that they're using. I've seen some other people talking about this, how the global liquidity and the global liquidity goes through kind of roughly same cycles as the Bitcoin halving, and that it'll should time with the top of the bull run. So the more liquidity flowing into Bitcoin and other cryptos will be good for KASPA too. Help it give more room to go up because say if the market cap of Bitcoin and Ethereum stayed where they're at, would KASPA be able to get up to 200, 100 billion? If that's possible, 100 billion, that's 50x from here. Doesn't seem like the craziest thing in the world. But with it being that close to Ethereum and Bitcoin, but say Bitcoin is up to like 2 trillion, Ethereum's up to like 600, 700 billion, maybe even a trillion, then there's, some of these other ones up to 100 trillion or 100 billion seems like it could be realistic. So if this does kind of play out like this and this global liquidity index cycle is accurate, now I don't know how they measure it. I did read something that I don't know if they're using some kind of indexing that's not really public and it's their own kind of indexing system. And so, yeah, I think that it's interesting times right now. You got the Bitcoin halving coming up. Bitcoin spot ETF looks like it's on the horizon. And if you do have more global liquidity coming in, and then you do have, let's see, go back up. We got sidetracked here. We need to go back and look at the original post here about how KASPA is number 2 in profitability for miners at 1.2 million behind Bitcoin. Obviously, it's way behind Bitcoin at 36 million daily, but it's nice to see that it's still profitable for miners. And even though miners, so they're making 1.2 million a day, and people are selling, but the price is hanging in there at 9 cents. You can see $42 million volume. So I guess if the miners sold it all, 10% would be, right now the trading volume would be $4 million. So even if the miners are selling it all off, it's still a fraction of the trading. And sometimes it's tough to tell if there's wash trading or what's going on exactly with the trading volume. And, like someone said, there's no tier 1 exchange. So once you get some bigger exchanges online, which feels inevitable, I mean, a proof of work project that has no VC backing, decentralized, feels like eventually Binance and Coinbase and crypto.com will have it. At that point, there should be more trading volume, more big players. Hello, Chris. Do you think a retracement would come? Let's see. First, Chris said, hello, brother. Thanks for joining. And then Zen asked, do you think a retracement would come? It's really hard. I mean, I could see a retracement happening down to 6 cents. It's really hard to plan it all out, though. For me, I realize I'm not smart enough. Me, sometimes if you call that, you'll be right. And some people are a lot smarter at reading the charts, and they'll go into TradingView and analyze everything. It just seems like, what if the Binance listing or a tier 1 exchange listing doesn't happen as fast as we think? Then is it possible it goes back down to 5, 6, 7 cents? I could see that happening. I'm not afraid to buy it like 8 or 9 cents because for me building out my bags, now that's just my personal opinion. But I don't know. I mean, what if somehow Binance did list it next week? I mean, it shouldn't be hanging around 8 or 9 cents. So I think a retracement could be possible, but you just never know. It's hard to time those things out. If you're smarter at trying to read charts and to me, it feels like a guessing game. What's interesting about KASPA, just since, it's been running up since 5 cents, it just keeps hitting new all-time highs, and then it pulls back a little bit. So, got up to almost 10 cents and then it's pulled back, but then it's kind of building a base pretty high, which is pretty interesting. So I don't know if more people are finding out about it. The miners are making good money. And, if some miners really believe in the project and feel like it could be good the next couple of years, they might not want to be selling. I know the technical investing YouTube guy that does lots of mining feels like he's holding it for the long term in the next couple of years. So you get other guys like that. So I think a retracement's possible, but it's really hard to. Oh, thanks, Zen. I love your videos, by the way, dude. Always nice to see notifications from your channel. I appreciate you tuning in. And yeah, I wish I had more confident answer, but when it comes to that things, I know there's a lot more people that are confident with what they're say the price action is going to do. For me, I've just seen too many times. I thought a coin or a token was going to go one direction and went the other direction, and there's so many unknown factors that you know that come into play with the price action. A few more people, but in general, it feels like more people are catching wind of Caspa. There it is, under 9 cents again. More people are catching wind, and I thought it might pull back a little bit once it kind of hit 8.6 cents, but it's kind of going back to the 9 cent range. So maybe some people that are just finding out about it are trying to slowly build their bags. Kind of got a decent little bag. So um, before the halving, how high do you think Caspa could go? So the halving should be roughly around what, April? Bitcoin halving countdown. I know it's not exact. Let's see the countdown. The Bitcoin halving countdown roughly has it on April 18th. I know some people said they're going to try for April 20th. So, man, I let's see. What do I really think that it could get to by then? I mean, it seems like I don't know the way it's going, and there's going to be pullbacks, so it's going to go up and down, but it feels like 25 cents to 50 cents, and I don't know, maybe that's too high. I don't know. I guess I mean from here, it's 50 cents is about a you know, that's only like a 5x from here. And so Bitcoin should be going. Yeah, there's like 21.8 billion right now, but what for me, what kind of there's kind of some similar vibes to Cardano now. It hasn't been around as long as Cardano, but when you look at Caspa, so the circulating supply is 21.4 billion, but the overall supply, it's got 75% out. So you're not going to see a ton of inflation with a max supply of 20.87 billion. But so when you look at Cardano, and I got Cardano, basically Bitcoin, Cardano, and Caspa. And so when you look at Cardano, it's got 35 billion, 78%. And so that's what made me feel like, hey, man, if I right now at 5 cents is when I really started loading up on Caspa. I mean, I made a mistake because I did kind of start getting messing around back here in February. I bought a little bit in February and then sold it in April. But so going back there is I just kind of feel like, man, if this can do something kind of even halfway close to what Cardano did, now that's still, there's a lot of chicken left on that bone, but the whole general market cap of crypto should be higher. What was it, 2.5, 3 trillion last time? So if it gets up to 6 or 7 trillion, it seems like there's room and liquidity for a project like Caspa to go up high. And I just kind of felt like some kind of Cardano vibes. Cardano's got more circulating supply, and it's got more in circulation, but I don't know what it was. It seems like it might have been in the 20 billions on the last bull run. And so I felt like right now at 9 cents, you could build up a decent bag of Caspa. And if it does anything somewhat similar or even close to what Cardano did, and it really ran up to its all-time high just when the smart contracts launched. And so if it did anything like that, it felt like, I mean, it did get over, I think, 100 billion. It shows 93 billion here. So even if it got to 50 billion, I mean, that's a long ways to go. That's a 25x from here. So I'm not super worried about the um the circulating supply, because it's something that's kind of similar, not exactly, but similar to Cardano. Cardano has been around a while, but it went to new all-time highs, and Caspa is going to be just ripping, it's ripping and roaring through a bear market, and we'll see what it does in the bull market. But it seems like a lot of people are catching wind to that. I guess you can see it looks like a couple whales. There's two less whales here, 230 now, and then 11 more sharks. A couple of those guys probably dropped from whales down to the shark territory, dolphins. It feels like if someone's in the dolphin territory, right now, depending on how much money someone invested and when they bought, there's a good amount of dolphins. Now, pretty soon, if the price keeps going up the way it is, dolphin territory is going to be out of out of reach. Because right now, for about $10,000, you could become a dolphin. Well, if it jumps up to 25 cents and then $25,000 starts to get more expensive. Let me know what you think the price could do in the next bull run, or what price do you think it could hit by the Bitcoin halving? It seems like 25 to 50 cents is possible. You just never know. But it feels like I could see 25 to 50 cents. And, 25 cents is what, 2.5x from here, and 50 cents is a little over what, 5x from here. So that seems possible. In that scenario, you're probably going to need, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going to be higher than $37,000. What would it be? Maybe 50,000? Or is it possible that Bitcoin, as much as KASPA is doing its own thing, it still helps when Bitcoin is pumping up, because that never hurts altcoins. So, I mean, Bitcoin, if it's Bitcoin's at 50,000, maybe 60,000, 45 to 60,000, which is a big range at the time of the halving. And there's also the factor of what happens if there's the BlackRock Bitcoin spot ETF, or any other Bitcoin spot ETF, and that rockets Bitcoin's price up, and that should affect altcoins too. So you just never know. You never know with that, but it's nice to see. I mean, roughly it should be April 18th. I mean, it could potentially happen at the beginning of April. Just depends on when the right block, 210,000 blocks. So I guess right now, I know that some would like to see it April 20th, I guess, just for shits and giggles. But you got right here, the Miner Bros posted that KASPA is now the highest daily mining revenue generating after Bitcoin. So, hopefully that keeps plugging away. If the price goes up, and I don't know, I guess maybe more ASIC miners are going to be coming online at the end of this month or December. The hash rate seems like it's been hanging around like 55 petahashes. You can see right here, 56, almost 57 petahashes right there. Current supply mined. Next reduction in 24 days, 147 CAS, hanging around one transaction per second. It fluctuates up to two. I think a lot of the blocks only have like one transaction. There's a lot of blocks being created. In the log chart, 25 cents is possible in that parallel channel. Yeah, I think that's possible. Just have to wait and see how it goes. Right now, it's just hanging at that 9 cent range, and it's when you look at the 1 day, it's just like, man, it's chopping sideways. We need to look back at the week. It's also looks that same way, but then when you look back, the further you go, the crazier that pump looks. But a lot more people are becoming interested, and you have a proof of work where there's actually a physical cost of energy to get it. So like Bitcoin, there's something backing it, like Dogecoin. I mean, as much as Dogecoin's a joke, it's actually, if Musk integrated it with X, something could happen in there. I don't have any Doge. I did play around with it right when Wall Street Bets was trying to make it a buck. I messed around with Dogecoin. So yeah, I think it's exciting times. Personally, I'm still maybe looking to pick up some more KASPA here and there, but for the most part, I got my bags packed. And yeah, there's people that got in at a range of different times. A lot of people were getting in here kind of earlier this year. Got some nice bags packed. Some new people getting in. Right now, it's still at a price point where you can get in at a pretty reasonable price, in my opinion. And I think this could do some crazy things. It feels like this could be the layer one that kind of becomes the darling of the next bull run, like the Solana. And it feels like it's got a similar circulating supply as Cardano. And if they keep pumping out the development, and I know they got the, the test net that is doing more blocks per second. So there's a lot of exciting stuff going on. You can see right here if you go onto Reddit, there's people talking about, for those in the US who are new to KASPA and want to buy it, here's some simple steps. Canadians looking to purchase KASP. I personally use changenow.io, but there's people that are using VPN, MEXC, They're buying USDC on Coinbase, send it to MEXC. There's people using Simple Swap, ChangeNow.io, like I've used, and then keep it on your cold storage. And I don't know if you saw, there was a guy that I saw that Digital Asset News. Um, he, uh, oh, I guess that's actually a fake account there. Well, whatever. Some guy and his dad lost 25 Bitcoin because they had through a password manager, they had their seed phrase stored there. And somehow with, maybe a keylogger or someone got in there and they got their seed phrase and stole their 25 Bitcoin. So you want to make sure that you are keeping your crypto safe, and you want to make sure any seed phrases are never stored digitally. I know that everyone knows. Chris says, bro, have you ever seen a proof of work coin flipping Dogecoin and mining profits? I think it's crazy to flip Doge. It's pretty famous, right? Yeah, I think that it's a big deal. To be honest with you, I can't say I've kept track of that. This is the first time I've ever really thought about that, to be honest. So I think it's a pretty big deal. Dogecoin is super famous. You have the richest guy in the world that talks about it, and it used to pump the price. And Doge is, what's it, like a 10-11 billion dollar market cap, and and Doge has got 141 billion. And so when you look at Doge, that's the thing with KASPA, is that the emissions is going to start slowing down. So the inflation on KASPA has got to start slowing down, because we're at 75% basically. And then there's only 25% more KASPA, where their Dogecoin does an infinite supply. Now they have the same fixed amount of Dogecoin coming in to circulation every year. So their inflation goes down in terms of, okay, now there's 141.8 billion Doge, and then you got, the 3.5 billion or 4 billion new Doge every year represents a small amount of the overall supply. But no, that's a big deal. Doge has been famous. It's been around for a long time, and you have the richest guy in the world talking about it, and people thinking that it could get integrated with X. So the fact that KASPA has become the number two uh, revenue generating for miners is huge. And that these miners, so now you have miners now that can sell and profit, but these guys have been mining all this time from last year. you know so they're getting, right here, where there's three zeros and a four, three zeros and a five, three zeros and a two. And I'm sure there's some guys selling off here and there, but I think some of these miners are going to be um, maybe waiting for 2025 before they really sell their bags. I don't know. I'm sure some are going to take some profits here and there. It doesn't hurt to take profits here and there. How many people say Caspa did get to $5? How many people could hold from 9 cents to $5 and not sell any? Chris047 said, I would love a dip for cat and cast for a long-term bag. I agree. I was personally hoping that, and maybe it still does go back to 5 cents. 5 cents, I think, is a pretty good range. Right now, it feels like maybe that 1.5 cent or 3.5 cent range might not happen, but you never know. There could be some negative event that we don't know. But I do feel like 5 cents is a pretty good range. Now, I don't know if we'll see that. Might have to settle for 7 cents, but I wouldn't mind, stacking some more cash for the bull run, which I think we're kind of in the bull run. But I wouldn't mind stacking some more cash here if it went down further. And I bought a little bit up here. I think my average is 6 cents or something. Most, I bought, it was around 5 cents, and it was a little bit 4.8 cents. But it's exciting, number two behind Bitcoin, and it's got about 20% more revenue than Dogecoin. And I don't know, I think right now there's still, it feels like it's went up a lot, and it has. And in general, I don't really buy projects like that, but you know, it just feels, like this one has a founder that's got some power in terms of he's been a player and with putting ideas about blockchain technology out there, and that it's a proof of work. So most of what I have is Bitcoin and this a proof of work. There's actual, a physical cost of energy to get new KASPA. And so I think that's valuable. And if they keep making their blockchain faster and they make it, I guess once they change the Rust, that'll make it easier to code. And yeah, the pretty bright future. But I think that's all I got for today. Appreciate you guys watching, and leave a comment if you want to, like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll check in tomorrow with KASPA and see what fun is in the blockchain world. Thanks for watching and have a good day.